Welcome to the Outstanding Women Leaders Podcast, or OWLS.
We give a hoot.
I'm one of your hosts, Kristen and Katie, a former journalist turned young stroke survivor, now hustling to make my dream of becoming a national speaker come true. I'm currently jobless, but not loveless. I have a 5-year-old French bulldog named BETCHA. It means cow in Spanish, and she is the love of my life and my motivation every morning to wake up and work. I want to buy her a house with a big backyard because she says this apartment life is not for her. She's currently sick and laying in bed. It's very sad. My heart hurts. I'm accompanied by my resilient and quirky co-host, Katie Eads, who, like a cat, has 9 lives when it comes to careers and relationships. Girl, really quick, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Kristen. Yes, I am quirky and also hilarious. She forgot that part. And founder of Owl Professional Coaching. After a sudden divorce and heartbreaking sale of my first business, I left my life behind, packed up my car, and drove halfway across the country to take on the Big Apple. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But I couldn't afford the $20 toll, so I'm stuck on the other side of the Hudson in Hoboken, New Jersey. That's right, I'm a Jersey girl. I refuse to pump my own gas now. After proclaiming 2020 my year and launching Owl Professional Coaching and the Outstanding Women Leaders podcast with my girl, Kristen. Our vision is to connect with outstanding women leaders around the world, share their story, and inspire you to be an owl in your own community. Today, we'd like to empower you to share your superpowers with the world and be your brave, bold, and unique self. But enough about us. If you're ready to laugh, feel the presence of faith in your life, and hear the F-bomb a few times, then let's get started. Here we go.
Today's guest is Anne Ledyard. She's a former two-sport NCAA athlete who struggled to find her life after sport. She's also a brilliant neuroscientist, living her dream right now as a business owner and a full-time fitness instructor. Hey, Anne.
Hi, Kristen. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
I am so excited to talk with you today about your being an athlete. I'm a former CrossFit gym owner, surrounded by some pretty strong athletes when I decided I was ready to transition out of being around athletes. Tell us a little bit about your two-sport NCAA athlete, and then you were a professional runner and biker after that. Tell us about your transition.
Yeah, so I was a very dedicated athlete in college. I played field hockey and lacrosse. I trained my entire life for that. And it wasn't so much about being the best at anything. It was about being part of a team and something bigger than yourself. And I think that's the feeling that we chase after we graduate or after you're done playing at whatever level you're in. I was definitely very dedicated. It was my life. And even though I excelled in other areas in school, so it wasn't like it was the only thing that I did, it was something that made my heart beat every day.
It was your purpose.
I know I get so emotional. Yeah, it was a deep purpose, and it always fed into something bigger than me. And I think I was definitely one of those players that played with heart, but I definitely worked really hard. So when I went through and graduated and went on to do my life, I think I was chasing that feeling of being part of something bigger and having that wholehearted life. And I didn't even know, or I wasn't aware of the transition process that needed to happen, and that in order to live a wholehearted life outside of sport, it was going to take a lot of skills and cultivating new skills into new areas of life. And that was the biggest thing, of just being aware of what I was chasing and what I was going through. Because when you go through big life transitions and changes, you're fighting yourself. And the biggest thing is you feel is shame. You're like, why can't I be balanced? Why can't I excel in these other areas of life? And you're also a very extreme person when you come out of sport like that. I used to run like 14 miles every morning and do a speed run every night, just because I was used to moving like that and doing extreme things. And it gave me a little taste of what I was missing. And the problem was, when other things in my life happened, like my best friend dying and my mom dying, I started to cling to those little coping mechanisms, like exercising and performance. And they really started to rule my life. And instead of giving into those other areas of my life that I really needed to grow, I hyper focused on food, on exercise. I found myself moving across the country with someone who was wonderful, but not particularly someone I wanted to meet on my own terms. And when I moved across the country in 2013, my life slowed. I didn't have to work, and my life kind of fell apart then, because that's when it became really apparent that I needed a purpose. I needed something to fuel me. And so I moved back across the country with my dog in 2017. And that's when or 2015. And then I moved back to being, working in chemosensory as taste and smell science. And I got to rebuild my life, and I was kind of given a chance to build the life that I really wanted. And it started with meeting a group of girls that Katie was a part of.
They're an amazing group of women. How did you meet? Were you a girlfriend? How did you get? I know everybody had like a backstory of how people found each other.
Yeah. So I was on a date, and I met my best friend from home who was on a date, and he was with this girl named Thais. And the next day, and we just became best friends right there. And the next day, we all went to the beach with Stacy, that's how I met Katie, through Stacy and Kripa and everybody. So there was just this group of international girls, and I hadn't met friends on my own terms like that. It'd always been someone from college, from high school. It was kind of like living in my past, because I wasn't making a future. And I think that was the first foundation of building a life that was outside of my past, or outside of my identity of my past. And then from there, I actually got really into yoga. And it sounds so cliche, because I was not a yogi. I couldn't even touch my toe. I was that professional runner that didn't even stretch. I would just run.
Oh God, really? Did you ever pull anything?
I hurt my medial glute after I did Broad Street, which is a 10-miler in Philly. It's pretty popular. But I think back on that, and I think, oh my gosh, I can't do a day without yoga without falling apart if I'm going to do all the things that I do. But yeah, I was not good at sitting still. I could never slow down. And that was part of what it feels like when you're chasing something that no longer serves you. You can't sit with yourself. And I think that's what I want to give to others, to really empower them to live life on their own terms, and know that it's not, take the shame away from the experience.
Sure.
So that's what really makes my heart beat, and that's why I got into teaching yoga and eventually fitness, and then working with athletes to overcome different life transitions. And what I found was, it's kind of funny, the kids coming right out of college, they don't even know that they need help or that they're going through a transition. So you can tell them a million times, but it's really up to the person, and we're all on our own paths. So most of the people I ended up working with are a little bit older. There's a few younger people. Most of them are older, and it's normally when something happens, something makes them slow down, something makes them be humbled or question their way of living. And especially like this quarantine is a huge instance where we're all feeling that on some level. We all have to slow down and ground ourselves and figure out what's really important, or we can spiral and really like chase, oh my gosh, when is this going to be over? So I feel like quarantine is a good mirror towards all those experiences that we all feel when we do make a life transition. Because when you're changing, as you ladies know, it doesn't feel like this big, beautiful change. It feels like you're drowning and you're clawing your way to the top.
It's so ugly too.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. You see those deepest, darkest sides of yourself, and all those preconceived narratives that you use to form your identity are challenged, and you're really forced to see, hey, what's indestructible in me? What really exists when nothing else does? And that's what makes us powerful, right? Like a woman that's been anyone, but we're women, so we know a woman that knows how to rise is like the most intimidating thing, because nothing scares us anymore. We know if we fall down, we just get back up. And if you're starting your own business, you're going to fall 5 billion times. It's going to change 1 billion times, and you just get back up. And failure becomes something you become really intimate with. And I think as a performance athlete, failure was my biggest fear. I want to be perfect all the time. I never wanted to fail, and I just fought perfection, and it's such a toxic mindset to live in.
Yes, I've had that same. It's funny you say that. When I was walking out today, I was thinking about where I've really transitioned with this embracing of failure, and realizing the environments where I am free to fail is where I feel safest. And because it's so easy to beat yourself up about failure, to work or be with a partner who also is uncomfortable with your failure. So Kristen and I get along well, because Kristen's totally cool that I'm going to fuck up sometimes.
I mean, that's all I've done for the last year.
Right.
I just think that Yeah, you guys are right. Like being comfortable with failure, that takes a lot of guts and to be brave to be like, okay, I'm going to be really bad at this and it's okay. Not everyone can do that.
But you learn so much.
So much.
And what something that you've learned through your failures of?
I've learned so many things.
I realize that's like a very loaded question.
In the grand scheme of life, as me as a human being, something that I'm grateful for every day is the ability to really be present in a moment and have that strength and openness to really meet life in the present moment and let go of anything that has happened and just firmly rooted in physically being there. And I think that's so powerful. And there's so many moments throughout my entire life where I wasn't totally present, able to absorb them. And that's often I find the hardest moments are the joyful moments, are the moments where someone really sees who you are. Or in the past, even all through my athletic career, I hated accolades or someone giving me direct attention for that because I didn't know how to receive it. And actually, when I left my job last March, I was invited to and I launched the athlete transition. I was invited to my college to speak at graduation to the student athletes, and then they inducted me to the Hall of Fame. And I thought it was such a perfect year. It was the first year I felt like, oh my gosh, I get to not only receive this huge honor, but I'm also in a place where I can give gratitude to the people that are giving it to me. And when we don't allow those moments of connection, even when they're big, beautiful moments like that, we lose out on giving back to those people and really connecting to them in a deeper way. I used to just think, oh no, it's okay, it's okay. But then you're missing out on the biggest part of the connection, and that's connecting with those people even deeper on different levels.
I love that in your story, like connecting with people is kind of really the basis of where you found your purpose. I wanted to go back to how you found your girlfriends, because finding friends as an adult that you haven't known your whole life is very difficult.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm talking about like not your coworkers. So typically with my job, every couple of years I move to a new city, and I always have to find like a new group of friends. And sometimes I want to find them not at work, because it's, you know, when you get together with coworkers, it's like, oh, F our boss, XYZ. It's like, I do not want to talk about work. And that's not talking badly about the friends that I've met here in Denver, because I love them very much. But sometimes I just need a time out. I need to talk to somebody not in TV. And meeting friends outside as an adult is so hard.
Oh my gosh.
Especially as a woman, it's difficult.
I think as a culture, we're not taught to go outside of our comfort zones and be vulnerable with those new interactions. And it really takes having an open mindset to meet someone and want to connect with someone and get to know them. I think I really lucked out. And I think at first I thought it was just because they were a group of international girls and we're all a little bit different and from a different place. But I think it's more a mindset, because Stacy is from New Jersey.
From PA.
Yeah.
She is a Jersey girl now. She married one.
She married one. I think it's a mindset and how you go about life. And I really think it's whether you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And it seems so simple, but that's how we live our lives. And I lived most of my life in a fixed mindset, very fixed mindset, I feel like. And until I was able to build my growth mindset out of all the trauma of my past, that's when I started attracting people that also felt the same, that you can experience something and you let go of all these ideas of who we think we should be and what's cool and what's not cool, and you really get to know someone. And I was really lucky. So I met Thais through my friend Chad. And as soon as I met her, she just invited me to go to the beach with them that weekend. And so I went to the beach with them that weekend, and then we just started adding on new members and meeting new people. And I call them my soul sisters because there was something bigger that drew us together, the way we see the world, the way we prioritize connecting with other people, and just the bigger life experiences over being materialistic or anything else that could really distract a friendship. And we're all just so different that we add a different perspective to things. And I think we're also all very, it sounds funny, but we're also all very calm on some level, that we give each other space to speak. And when everybody was complaining about the Zoom calls and people talking over each other, it's never like that with them. It's very balanced. Everything always feels very even keel. And to be honest, I've made so many new friends since then, just because now I work in health and wellness and I have so many communities I'm a part of, but they're my soul community. They're the community that is like, yeah, that really speaks to my soul. But
They're your parliament. A group of owls is called a parliament, if you didn't know.
Oh, I did not know that.
And how cool is that?
It's very cool, but I also think it gives you a sense of worth that sometimes we don't always feel when it's hard to build just ourselves. But when you build that friend group, they give you like a foundation for life. So they were my foundation that obviously I've grown into all these other communities as well, but they were definitely my foundation. But you're right, it's so hard to meet adult friends, and it just happened organically. So we were so lucky that we all found each other. But it also happens, it just happens in life. And I think the biggest thing is being open to meeting someone who might not be who you thought were going to be your best friends. And don't get me wrong, I met 20 other girls that Chad had gone out with, and we're not interested in being friends.
Yeah, as an only child, I am that person that I'm like, okay, I don't have a built-in friend group. I need to go out there and make friends with people. I found it really empowering to go to a place that I didn't have a single friend and make friends. And as an adult, the person I'm friends with from high school, if we met tomorrow, I don't know that we would be friends. I love this girl. We are besties, but we are very different people. And I think finding new adult friends in your 30s is really a reflection of where you are in your 30s. And those people that you attract in your life to be friends with forever are not quite the same as the people that you attracted in your 20s. And I love that you and I both met Stacy at a point in our lives where we were transitioning. I'm transitioning off of divorce. What's my identity? Like that sense of purpose. I had no idea. I identified as a wife and a gym owner. And then I wasn't any of those things.
Yes.
And Stacy's great. I asked her to work out with me at the gym that day because I looked around the room and everybody had a partner but Stacy. Kristen was at my CrossFit gym. Like Saturday mornings, you have a buddy WOD. You know that you're the new person when nobody wants to be your partner. Yeah, and she invited me to brunch that day. She's like, "What are you doing today at 3:00?" I'm like, "Nothing. Whatever you're doing, I'm doing." And I got to keep Stacy ever since. So she's an incredible owl. She'll never come on this podcast because she's too private, but she's amazing.
And I think you hit something. Oh no, sorry. I was going to say, I think you hit something, Katie, that is so powerful for women. We're starting over a million times nowadays. We're always having to re-identify ourselves, redefine ourselves, and that's something in the past that we couldn't do. And so we've had to kind of fight against society to do all these things, and meeting friends that make space for you to do that is really powerful.
Sure. Yeah. And knowing when you put yourself out there that not every single person that you meet will stay that lifelong friend. Sure. It's okay to date around, so to speak, for friends and kind of see who shakes out.
Yeah. Some friends are just for coffee and drinks. And then there are friends that you call and you like divulge your soul. Like I have different groups for different things, but as I've gotten older and more confident in meeting other women, have anybody read Gabrielle Bernstein, The Judgment Detox book?
No.
She's amazing. I've read all of her books. If you need some like guidance, I highly suggest Gabrielle Bernstein. She's so amazing. But in her Judgment Detox book, she talks a lot about how women judge each other and how it's really coming from like something from within that's kind of not sitting right. And so every time I see like a woman that I think is amazing, like at conferences or something, I make a point to go up and introduce myself because I feel like there's something that's pulling in me. It might be something that I need to work on. But if I go in and I introduce myself and I'm like, "Oh my God, you inspired me. I would love to grab a cup of coffee." And that's how I've met a bunch of girlfriends here in Denver.
I love that.
I felt like they were going to offer me something in friendship and I could offer them something.
Yeah. And I think that's really powerful, sharing your life story and listening to somebody else's. And because we all have a story and something that we want to share with each other. So I love that.
Yeah.
But it can definitely be intimidating.
Oh my gosh, so
It's
intimidating.
not all women are like, yeah, like, welcome to my tribe, let me in. There are some that are, and that's, that's fine, that's you, that are kind of cold. I don't know. I don't really surround myself with those kind of women, but I
Yeah.
know they're out. I know they're
I'm
out
that
there.
woman that will try to make you be my friend anyway.
Katie doesn't give up.
I'm like, I'm only child. You will like me. Everyone will be my friend. And when they weren't my friend, I started a club and I charged them dues, and then they were my friend.
Oh my God, stop. But that's kind of a mirror for what it's like when we try to start our own businesses and everything and redefine ourselves. I found myself in the beginning chasing being like networking with certain women and certain people in the fitness industry, and they were not always responding in the way I was like, why don't you like me? Why don't you want to why don't you want to do this? Why do you want to hire me? Like I found myself chasing relationships in health and wellness that weren't right for me. And I didn't even realize that. I thought that's what I needed. And I think it takes a lot when you start your own business to be able to like let go of what we think we need, and then be open to when those relationships that really are going to feed us, that may not be what we thought we needed, come our way. Because I feel like I am where I am, and I didn't run back to being a scientist, which I thought about many times, because I kept attracting waves of people that really were on the same wavelength as me. And I had to a lot of times it was me letting go of what I thought I should be doing or who I thought I should be networking with, which is crazy because we're adults. Like, why are we chasing someone who doesn't want to support us or bolster us?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I feel like I'm in that space right now. Kristen's transitioning in careers at the moment as well. And what advice do you have for people that are in transition?
My advice for people that are in transition and really struggling is to press pause and take a moment. And I think the biggest thing is to be kind to yourself. There's one thing we can control, right? And that's how we talk to ourselves. And I think that was the foundation for my change. And that's the foundation for anybody's change, because we can try as much as we want, but if we don't love ourselves and give ourselves the care that we need and talk to ourselves like we need, then we're never going to change, because we're always going to feel shame. We're always going to be chasing something that doesn't serve us or isn't right for us. So it really starts with ourselves and taking a moment for ourselves and being kind to ourselves. And obviously that's a practice that we practice our entire lives, but I was really hard on myself. I wasn't so much hard on others, but I was hard on myself. And the way I talked to myself made me chase narratives that weren't true or weren't in my best interest. And learning how to talk to myself in a way that empowered me. And when I knew I could say that I loved myself, and like really know that, not just say it, but like know, hey, I love myself. I'm proud of myself. I can be anything I want to be and be comfortable with it. 10 years ago, if I said I was going to quit my job and go into health and wellness full time, oh my gosh, my pride would be just in shambles and all these things. But now I'm like, no, I'm doing something I really, really believe in. And I get to interact with people and connect with people all day long, especially in quarantine. I appreciate it so much. Every day I interact with at least 5 or 6 of my clients and really get to help them, and seeing people change and seeing people discover parts of themselves that they didn't know existed is so powerful. And there are ebbs and flows in every job and every relationship and every client. But that's the part that makes me like really, really care. And I think just to say something big in a couple sentences, because I know I'm talking a lot. My mother got sick when I was in high school, and she never accepted being sick. And she always was this able-bodied, beautiful woman who could do whatever she wanted. And that was what made her eventually pass away, not being able to take care of herself. So the part of not making space for herself, being kind for herself. So every time I teach a yoga class, and I come up with an intention or do something that really, I used to get so emotional in the beginning when I first started teaching. I didn't know why I got emotional. And I realized I got emotional because I was able to speak for my mom and teach all these things and speak for myself. In the beginning, I thought it was for myself. And then I realized, oh my, I watched my mom struggle for so long, and the amount of pain that we can put ourselves through when we are already struggling. Oh my gosh, that makes me want to change everybody into a mindset where they know that they're worthy, they're powerful enough, it all is enough as they are, and they don't need to be anything else.
That negative self-talk is so heavy. What do you do daily to like amp yourself up or be positive, to Anne?
Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but I really believe in a gratitude practice, and obviously psychology.
Does not sound stupid at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I live like that as well.
Yeah. So I do a couple things. I wake up and I do Julia Cameron's morning pages, which basically is the idea of writing 3 pages of stream of consciousness. And the idea is that your inner self comes out over time. And then I also do gratitude practice with changes here like every once in a while. Right now I'm making it very specific because quarantine's kind of changed our lives a little bit. So I always write about a relationship that I care about. I write about something I'm grateful that happened the day before, something that I can make great today, and then like an object or something that's around me that I'm grateful for. And some days I dig into it, some days I don't. And then I always do a movement practice of some sort. Either whether it's yoga or maybe it's biking or maybe it's running today or maybe it's walking with my dog. For me, movement is so powerful for me and such a gateway to things that's really important for me to connect with it. I know I'm such a nerd. I have so many things that I do. I use this Streaks app, which is like you knock off everything you do. So these are things that I shoot for. Not every day that I do them, but I also put in like human connection and self-care and meditation or like a healing energy practice. So it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out what you need, right? And it took me a long time to figure out what I need, but I know that I need to move a little. I need to connect with people a little, and I need to do a gratitude practice or write out my feelings or even like an energy healing exercise, because to know that I'm moving from my center and not getting off track, because I was off track for 10 years and I didn't even stop once.
And you are so intentional about your life, and I absolutely admire that and love that. I'm feeling inspired. What would you say your superpower is?
You know, we always like think what our superpower is and what people tell you your superpower is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I was just going to say what's my superpower, I'm tough. I have grit. But other people would say that it's because I'm soft and they always feel really warm and I'm loving and I give them space to be who they are. So it's funny, right? We think what our superpower is, what other people tell you what it is like complete mirror opposites, but they go together.
I love
No, they
that.
do, yeah. If you could give advice to young Anne, what would you tell her?
Oh man, she'd be a tough one to work with. But oh my God, she was tough. I would tell her that, you know, when I was tough and just like doing I was just doing crazy things all the time, like train so hard, do all these wild things. And people told me to slow down, but I couldn't hear them, right? That's not what I would tell me. I would tell me that everything I was doing was enough, you know, and I think we don't hear when people tell us you're doing too much, you are too much, you're too much, too much. That's not the right message to send to women or anyone in general. And especially as a woman, I feel like I was super sensitive to that. So when people told me I was too much, I was like, I'm not too much. I'm the fastest woman in Philadelphia. Or like, you know, I'd be like, this is what it takes. I would like.
Mine was always you're burning the candle at both ends. Like, well, my candle burns that way.
I'd be like, that's what it takes to be the best.
Right?
But I would
maybe your candle should be lit. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. But I think if we spent more time telling women or people that are struggling that you are enough and like holding space for them, that would be more powerful. Because what could someone that was super strong and adamant about what they were doing say if someone was like, wow, you're amazing, you're like giving me compliments and saying you're enough? I think I wouldn't know how to handle that. I think I would have to pause and take a step back and be like, wait, am I enough? Because that's why you're doing those things. You don't think you're enough, right? So when someone tells you that, even when you're tough and strong and you're going to grind it out, you have to pause. And
Well, it's why compliments are so sometimes uncomfortable for people, because you don't know how to take that in because you're so constantly working on bettering yourself and you're busting your ass 24/7 that when someone's like, you're doing great, you're like, wait, what? I don't know. I don't think so. I got a lot more shit to work on. You don't even say thank you. You're just like, it just kind of like just goes over your head.
It does. It's so, and that's so true. And that's our culture these days, right? Always chasing the next big thing. So it's really hard to do that in general, but that's funny. It's so true.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice you'd give women who are struggling right now, thinking that they're not enough?
Advice I would give women, I would say the power of baby steps. Start small.
Yes.
Building synchronicity in your life doesn't happen all at once. I didn't wake up one day and suddenly stop being a wild woman running 30 miles a day. I did baby steps and figuring out what works for you, knowing it's going to be an ebb and flow. You're going to go forward, then you're going to come back. But being able to move from your life from an intuitive place is priceless. Oh my gosh, the freedom of feeling like you can move from your center without thinking, because it is tiring chasing. It's tiring running after something. It's so tiring running after a person that you think you should be. And being able to sit with who you are is so priceless. So just start with the baby steps, and they build. Our baby steps build so fast, we don't even notice it. It's just like compound interest that we build into our lives. So start small, something that's super attainable. For me, I couldn't even read the book that my therapist would give me by Pema Chodron. It was called The Places That Scare You. It's still one of my favorite books. But I remember trying to read it and I couldn't even sit still for that. So just doing something way smaller, like read for 3 minutes, read 2 pages. Little tiny baby steps that you can sustain are more powerful than like not eating for a week if you feel like you can't control your eating, or exercising for a billion hours a day. Like, go for a walk with your dog, do something small, and that stuff builds so much faster than when we try to like suddenly change. And I think that was the hardest for me, because you go from this life where you feel like it's big and bold and amazing, and then having to restart over and over. It's really mentally hard to get there. So start small.
I forget that that's what I would always tell people. And as I'm hearing Corona teen without a gym on day 61, I need to be reminded that baby steps in the gym will serve me well when I finally can pick up a weight again. If I had one regret in life, it would be not buying weights before Corona.
They're so expensive right now. They're so expensive.
I would pay for it. Like, I can't get them delivered. Like, nothing is everything is out of stock of the places I would normally go. So
use water jugs.
You know, it's funny. I picked up a big thing of vinegar. I was like, oh.
I mean, honestly, all the workout gyms here are having people use like backpacks or water jugs, containers.
Yeah. I'm just using the 20-pound weight vest I've put around my belly in the last 60 days. Like, do I really need to add more weight? Are we good?
That's funny. I used to lift like 4 or 5 days a week, but I've just been doing like my yoga sculpts and body weight stuff. And I only have 7.5 pounders. So it is funny how we've all kind of like changed our workouts a little bit here and there.
I mean, you have to.
You have to. And I think, Katie, that's something that we like figure out what works for us in coronavirus. And if a 20-pound pack that you can put around your waist is what works for you, that's what works for you.
Well, this is permanent, this pack.
Oh my God, stop. Hey, if that's the worst thing that happens during this pandemic, consider yourself lucky, man.
Oh my God, I was just texting my sister about how I'm being gorda. Like, oh my God, my little bonsai is sticking out. I'm like, I don't know this woman, but it's fine. You know, that's what I have to keep telling myself. Like, it's fine. It's either going to go back or you're going to like love your new body. It's going to be fine.
I will say, having transitioned from gaining weight, losing weight, and I never put 60 pounds back on. My only concern right now is I can't go shopping, and if my jeans don't fit, I'm kind of screwed. That is why we have leggings. So it's all good. And I know that the ebb and flow you talk about, it's okay. I'm going to go eat.
We're in transition. We're actually in one of the biggest transitions of our lives.
I am transitioning into a larger size pant.
That's okay. that's you transitioning right now. We're going to go back and forth and then find our flow in here, but it's okay. When you're transitioning, being hard on yourself during it is what keeps the pounds on. It's what keeps us feeling heavy.
Right.
Yeah. And
You're
just
absolutely
try to
correct.
lighten those moments, like with your man. You get joy every day at your fingertips.
I mean, he keeps trying to tell me about this exercise program and how it's going to start working, but it's not working. I'm just getting hungrier.
Oh my gosh, you're a health coach. When we're like this, it's normally because, right, another area of our life is feeling like funky, or there's
Yep.
something.
I'm
like,
very, yes. And
Yeah.
between my dad's breakup, my cousin getting sick, and launching a new business, leaving a job, those are
And
the
it's
wheels. And there's a pandemic. You're absolutely correct. Those are the wheels. But walking is a huge win for me, to walk out every single day and to get out of my home. And there's a German Shepherd that wants to go on a run. So maybe we'll start running soon. I'm not really a runner.
Start walking. That's what I did when I lived in Portland, when I moved across country, when I got my puppy and I got really depressed. I would just walk her, and that would be like a good day for
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
Also, just being outside and like getting that nature moment, like that can change your day.
And what's it like in Denver? Are you able to get outside and go?
Oh yeah, it's always sunny in Denver. Today's actually the first day in a really long time it's kind of gloomy. So my dog is sick, so it's kind of fine with our mood, but I know people get really upset on the one day it's gloomy in Denver. But I mean, it's fine. We can get outside.
Are all your restaurants closed?
No, they're still kind of open. You just have to wear a mask. Yeah, our restaurants are still closed. But I finally was able to book a haircut next Friday.
What?
And I just know that's gonna make me feel so good. I want to chop this hair off.
I will drive to somewhere for a haircut at this point. It's all white. Maybe a wax would be good. Like,
oh my god, I'm so
I've been
excited.
self-waxing. I ordered the Bliss Wax. I do the Bliss Wax on Amazon. It takes 2 hours, but if you ever do it yourself, I mean, it was intense, but if you ever do it yourself, you actually do a better job, because those ladies they do it in like 3 minutes and you're done and you're out of there.
Have you ever done the sugar waxing?
No, this is like a hard wax.
So the sugar wax, ancient Egyptian secret, it's literally sugar, I think, and it's honey, and you can make it, and there's a place in New York. And I canceled my appointment because I thought getting Corona just to get my vagina waxed didn't make sense. And then they closed. But I can order online, and it's not nearly as painful. So I feel like I could do it myself. And you pull the hair with the hair versus against the hair. So there's it's a better wax. I need yoga to get into these positions to wax myself.
That is true.
It gets easier. I don't care when people say that. When they're like, "Oh, it gets easier at time." I'm like, every time I get my vagina waxed, it feels like the first time. I'm like, I can't.
No, it wasn't easy. I just did like little tiny patches, so it took me forever because I didn't want to do like what they do. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Like, that was stuck on there forever. I'll never rip it off.
This might be too much, but the worst is when I feel them putting the wax on the lips. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god,
here it comes. This is the bad part.
I'm telling you, sugaring is way better. It doesn't feel like any of that. It's so cool, and it just traps the hair follicle.
That's what I channel my yoga breathing. You can do this, Kristen. You survived a stroke. You can get your vagina waxed. It's fine. It just hurts so much.
It does hurt a lot, but I'm gonna tell you, it felt pretty nice when I was done. I was like.
I can only imagine. I'm actually thinking, like, do I have a girlfriend right now that would be willing to wax my vagina?
That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for.
So, girls, if you're listening, I'm about to put our friendship to the test. Give Julia.
Yeah, girls to get into it, but I feel bad because it hurts.
So you would wax your friend's
vagina? Like easier for. I would wax it, but I'd feel bad inflicting pain upon them. Also,
I'm telling you, the sugaring doesn't hurt as much. I would be okay with it. This conversation.
I do that thing where push it down, the pressure to make the pain stop. I'm like, yes.
No, me too. I'm like, thank you.
So bad. I know. I need to look into the sugar wax.
You should. I will tell you, the hardest transitions I've ever made is going from not being able to get a wax. And I don't know if you guys can see like all this white hair. Oh
We
yeah.
can't see.
Unless you get up
So
close.
bad.
Yeah.
It's good.
And thank you so much for coming on. This is the perfect ending to this. I love that we talked about so much serious stuff and then ended it with vagina waxing.
I mean, every show should end with a good vagina.
Yes. Thank you, ladies, for having me. I can't wait to hear more about your stories and as we go through this pandemic, what even happens. It's so inspiring to just connect with other women going through different life transitions and empowering themselves in a new way. And I don't know if you ladies feel like this, but when you start your new business, I feel like I have ebbs and flows of empowering vibes roaming through me. And some days I feel like I can conquer the world. And some days I'm like, what am I doing?
Yes. Yesterday I thought, what am I doing? And then I hopped on a coaching call and realized I'm just doing exactly what I need to do for myself right now. Thank you so much, Anne. You before we let you go, where can people follow you? Where can they find you? If they're in, you are virtual, so anyone can take yoga with Anne.
Yep, I do everything from home right now, and you can either check me on theathletetransition.com or I'm on Instagram, also the Athlete Transition, at the Athlete Transition. And you can DM me or you can sign up for a free consultation on my website.
Awesome. I noticed there was a discount code in that website too for people that are interested. Go check it out.
So make sure to check out Anne's business and don't forget to support our local nonprofit of the day. In today's episode, we're supporting the Rocky Mountain French Bulldog Rescue, which is where I got my little Paquita. And they're an amazing organization that actually rescues a lot of French Bulldogs from puppy mills and saves them and actually helps pay for them to get spayed or neutered and any of their medical needs until full adoption. I highly suggest you can find them online at Rocky Mountain French Bulldog Rescue on Facebook. That's their website, and also on Instagram. They're an amazing organization, and they do ship out. So if there's a little pup that you want to foster for a little bit, they can ship out.
That's amazing. And also, just don't forget, if you enjoyed this podcast, share it with your friends. Follow us on Podbean so you can get updates when we release new episodes. We're cranking these things out, guys. We're unemployed. Self-employed. We're self-employed. Thank you so much, Anne. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.